Hi guys, today I'm going to be talking about one-point perspective. One-point perspective applies when you're looking straight at an object. The first thing you do is draw in your horizon line. And then you add a vanishing point, usually to the center. This vanishing point is very important. Every single line that is not horizontal or vertical in relation to the horizon line is going to go towards this point. The next thing I want you to do is draw a square with all 90-degree angles parallel to the horizon line. Once you have that square, from all four corners of the square, draw a line back to our vanishing point. This will give us the sides and top and bottom of the box. You're going to connect the top two lines and the side lines and the bottom lines to form the back of the box. If you've done this correctly, the line across the top connecting the two top lines should match the line at the bottom connecting the two side lines. So now that I have the structure of my box, I'm just going to finish it off by drawing with pen to highlight where the lines of the side of the box are. All right, let's do this one more time, this time on top of the horizon line. So all of the steps are the same. First we draw a square, then from all four corners of the square we draw lines back to the vanishing point. We connect the bottom two lines together. Then we go straight up at a 90-degree angle from the horizon line and connect the bottom line to the top line to form one side. And we do the same thing on the other side. Now, if we've done this correctly, where those lines intersect at the top, if we draw a straight line across parallel to the horizon line, we should be able to complete our box by drawing in the top side. Okay, now let's try one from the side. So we do the same steps here. We draw a box. Then we draw lines coming from all four corners to the horizon line. Now I like to start drawing the back of the box by using the side most visible to me. So in this case, it is going to be the right-hand side. So I draw a line going from the top right to the bottom right line, the lines we just created going back to the vanishing point. And then where those lines connect, I draw a line straight back to the back lines that connect to the vanishing point, creating the top and bottom of the box. And then finally, where those two lines connect, if I've done this properly, I should be able to draw a straight line down, connecting them to complete the back of the box. And I'll just finish this off by filling in the rest of the box with pen. Now, if you wanted to turn this box into a house, for example, you would need to be able to put on a roof that is centered with the box. So this is how we do that. The first thing we do is find the center of the front side. We do this by drawing an X from corner to corner. Where this X intersects, that is the center of our side. Now this applies to the side of the box, even if it's not a perfect square. It applies to two-point perspective, so finding the center of an object is a very important skill when it comes to perspective. So once we find the center, we draw a line straight up, and that becomes the point of our roof. So pick the height of your roof and draw a line straight back to the vanishing point. So even the top of the roof goes to that vanishing point. Then we can complete that front part of the roof by drawing lines to the corners from the top of the roof. Now we also need to find the vanishing point for the back of the house in order to make that back roof line work in perspective with the front. So we do the same thing. We find our center by drawing an X, and then we draw a line straight up from that. And where that line intersects the roof, the top of the roof line that we have, we draw lines back to the two corners of the house to create the back of the roof. Now let's draw a pyramid. So when you draw a pyramid, all of the same rules apply. The big difference is that you don't need to draw an entire box to draw a pyramid. All you need is the base square shape. So in order to do that, we just draw a straight line. From that straight line, we connect the edges back to our vanishing point. And then we draw a straight line behind that to connect those two lines, forming the bottom of our box, this bottom square. Then we find the center, just like we did with the house. We draw an X through the box, and that is our center point. And then we draw a line up from the center, and that is going to be the tip of our pyramid. From that tip, we draw lines back to all four corners of the base of our pyramid, and we are finished. We've completed our pyramid. All right, now we're going to try drawing our initials. So the example I'm drawing uses all three initials from my name, but you can just use two if you would like to try this. This is a bit more challenging because we're dealing with a lot of different angles here. The first thing we do is we draw the letters using boxes, using rectangles. So for me, I have all straight letters, KLM. If you have, let's say, an S or an O, I recommend making those kind of cubic. I've tried to make all of my rectangles that form my letters about the same width as well. Once we have that structure drawn in, from every corner, we draw a line back to our vanishing point. So it's just as if we're drawing multiple boxes on top of each other. In reality, you don't need to draw from every single corner, but it doesn't hurt. You never know when you might need one of those little vanishing points to help complete the object. So now that I'm done this, I'm just drawing a line straight across the top. So this is going to be the back edge of all of my letters. And I want that to be consistent. That's why I draw a line straight across. And now I'm just filling it in a little bit darker where I am going to have the back of my letters so that I can use that to find the bottom of my letters. So just like we did when we were drawing the box, we draw in that top line and then we draw a line straight down to where it intersects with one of our side lines that we drew in going to the vanishing point. And that is the point in which the back of our box stops. So if I've done this accurately, that should line up across the board. So the bottom of my L should line up with the bottom of my M. Now it doesn't quite, so there is a little bit of discrepancy within my lines, but it's not so bad that it's going to look wrong. If at any point you go back to the vanishing point and it's even just a little bit off, it will throw off the perspective on whatever it is that you're drawing. And it's kind of exponentially done. So if you're off by 1 millimeter going back to the vanishing point, it might put you 3 millimeters off on your shape. It gets just like perspective gets larger when it comes forward, so do the mistakes that are created. So any mistake by that vanishing point can be very apparent if it's not corrected. So I'm still just drawing all of my lines back to the vanishing point and then connecting the back of my letters. So when we draw in the back of our letters, if our letter has a up and down vertical line, like a vertical 90 degrees to our horizon line, that's pretty easy. We just do that like we did the box. We just draw the back line in the same way. If your letter, like my K, has a little bit of a slope to it, what we need to do is make our line parallel to the front of the letter. So I'm trying my best to make the back of my K parallel to the front of my K. This example of drawing your initials in 3D is definitely a challenging 1-point perspective assignment. I recommend starting with shapes and getting very comfortable drawing shapes before you get into doing your letters, but it is a good challenge. So if you can do this accurately, then I am very confident that you understand 1-point perspective. I'm just doing some shading here to help them pop, to help you see the sides and the back and see how the lighting affects them here. All right. So that's it for my 1-point perspective lesson. I hope you guys have learned a few things today and have enjoyed this video. I'll see you soon.